Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys. Welcome to another web development meeting today. So we have Carol McMaster Stone
Yeah,
from the Center of Mind and Brain.
Division of Social Sciences.
Division of Social Sciences. Sorry. And then she's going to be doing a case study on their new redesign of their suite of websites. And then after we'll follow up with just a brief thing about the logo contest and
That'll be fun.
yeah, big discussion. So here's
Okay.
Carol.
Hi, I'm the web developer, one of the developers for the Division of Social Sciences in the LS Dean's office. We have a lot of websites. I didn't count them before I came. It seemed depressing, but we have a lot. And we decided that, well, we didn't, we're being driven by several things, but our web presence is very, it's loud, the sites are all very different, and we decided that, actually, our constituents decided that we, that everybody, actually, what it was everybody wanted something better, which is why we undertook this. Everybody wanted a better website. Now, the reason we approached this differently because we discovered that better is very different for every person, and we couldn't possibly survey all the opinions necessary or unnecessary, as the case may be, to decide what exactly we wanted to do. We actually ended up, because we decided better was such a hard target to hit, we actually ended up hiring a consultant group to handle this part, the arranging, kind of distilling down what would make our web presence better. And they worked with all of our constituency groups. They met with them, they surveyed them. They also analyzed our Google Docs, or our Google Analytics rather, to see what content was actually being used, what content was important to our customer base, what content was important to our departments, what contents, because we have staff, faculty, graduate students, undergraduate students, and centers, and then the general public, prospective students. It's a long list. So this process actually has been really good for us. And it was also good for our committee members because they all came in with what they felt like a good website was, but it was only from their point of view. And so through this process, we were able to expand kind of the view of some of our clients and figure out exactly what it was we wanted to have. One of the things we decided was we wanted to go down to a similar look and feel across the division, without making everything the same. So what that means is we're going to be applying like templates that feature the same design elements, but that don't stomp on the department's individual identity or the center's individual identity. We need current, easy to manage content, and I actually have a slide for why we need current, easy to manage content. This, maybe this will do it. This is a PhD comic, but one of the things we're doing is reviewing our people profiles and our faculty profiles, but this kind of says it. Our stuff seems to land on the web and not get updated, and this is pretty funny. I mean, it just kind of, it's like once you get it there, it stays there. That's not what we want. We want content that's dynamic, that people can edit easily, that that they interact with, rather than just sticking it up there to sit. Awareness of who our customers are, and then we need to leverage shared resources amongst our websites. We have a lot of the same people whose profiles appear on several of our websites. We have clustered staff who are responsible for, they're the staff unit for 4 departments, and they need some identity on the websites. Adding them to each website gets old in a hurry, which it really gets old in a hurry. So let me go on. Wrong one. That's my. I almost never do PowerPoint. Sorry. It's terrible. So for the similar look and feel, which was our first charge, we put the process in the hands of the designer. Our basic requirements were a clean, responsive skin that meets the ADA requirements and uses the UC Davis colors. And agreed on designs prevent unfortunate implementations of opinion, which means nothing is purple or pink or red or has a blank tag. I agreed on designs. It actually has taken a lot of pressure off of us because we have this group that's doing all this stuff and doing all these meetings and getting a lot of feedback and a lot of buy-in. And so we actually haven't had to do that part. And we just got our designs, and I'll show you those in a minute. As far as the current content goes, for this we leverage our CMS. We run Plone, but this is a CMS. I mean, any CMS I'm sure will handle this for you. But all of our content is in a content management system, and we're going to be reorganizing it, re-indexing. All the sitemaps have been redone. We only have to migrate a couple of sites. All the rest of them are still in Plone. We also, since it's our CMS, we're writing some overriding user templates so that depending on who you are when you log in, depends on what actually you can do, aka certain people can add events and certain people want to add events and they want it to be really easy. So we're trying to move some of those things forward into more of a dashboard form. Much of this is still in the design and implementation phase because it's actually been the front end of the project has ended up being fairly slow, all the meetings and the getting buy-in. Again, we determined our customers via Google Analytics, and we're also doing a certain amount of making sure that different groups get funneled to the appropriate information, just because we'd really like them to be able to find what they want. Now, the shared resources is really where I come in because I do a lot of the Plone work and the CMS work. Our sites share news, they share events, they share people. People is a huge one because one of our people will be the director for the Center of Mind and Brain, but he's also a faculty member in psychology. And we need to somehow roll something up that allows him to be in 2 places at once or 3 places at once, but only have to edit himself in 1 place. And then have some context-based information, which means that when he shows up in psychology, there's psychology only information based on the psychology context. And so this is actually where I think our CMS will be the most helpful, is that because we have a lot of metadata on people, and just like any database, you have a manageable chunk of people. The other thing is we want them to be able to manage their own profile or edit their own profile, which means some form of permission, some form of membership, all of which actually the membership and the permissions we get from our CMS out of the box. The people engine we get out of the box, but affiliating sites and syndicating sites so that this all works, we don't actually get out of the box. It's a little harder to do. Currently what we're going to do, is go with subsites. Have a root site, and then which will hold, it'll be our container, it'll hold our people, and then it'll be an events and news aggregator. So the people will come down to the departments and the centers. The news and events will go back up to the root. We're actually going to, the path will be down. So if Department 2 wants news from Department 1, they'll actually end up pulling it from the root site. And the root site will be visible as a main directory for the division and mostly events and news, what's happening in the division. We aren't redoing the dean's office sites yet that I know of, but at this point, that's what it's gonna be. And then the departments will all hang off of there. So it's gonna be one really big server. But that does mean that the information will be shared easily without having to tie it in through server includes or trying to avoid some of the extra Apache work. This also means that each site, in this model, each site will have their own URL, and each site will be the whole thing will be backed up all at once, but the whole server will be redundant, so our failover is a little easier to manage. And this all sounds great in theory, and mine isn't working yet because we're fairly early on. Let's see, I've already said all that stuff. We're still fairly in our process, but these are our pluses, which I already hit. The minuses are that it's going to be a really big server, so we're going to need caching. We can't pull in the one-offs, anything that's not in our CMS. We have a certain number of faculty sites, legacy faculty sites, that are not, that won't make it in here. And then we're going to need to write some custom products for our CMS in order to pull this together. And this is where we are in our process. Currently we're piloting with 3 departments. The designs are just now out for review, which I'll bring up in a sec. The sample sub-site server is running in development mode, and we're developing our content migration strategies. And as soon as we have designs, we'll have themes. Oh, the one thing I didn't say was that my CMS has a really great theming story. So when it comes to because each site will have its own URL, we theme based on the URL, so their themes will apply easily to their site. Their sites will all look slightly different within the designs. So basically, right now we're still at the design approval phase, but I can show you the samples, which I fired up over here. Yep. Okay. So actually, I'll go with my development server first. And that would be here. So this is my development server, which actually doesn't have a whole lot on it. This is just, it's just in testing, but really? Seriously? Hang on, I was somewhere that didn't have mobile net apparently. There we go. Man. I just rebuilt my laptop. Okay. Yeah? Is it?
I mean, mine just syncs right up. It's not just my machine, but my user ID, I think. It's like it's different IDs.
Well, apparently, I haven't been on MobileNet with it. I thought I had. I just rebuilt it. I can miss my password 6 times in a row, though, so.
You can try mine.
Huh?
You want me to try mine?
What I was going to do was switch to
Could do MobileNet, not X,
MobileNet, not X. This is great.
Not extreme.
not Extreme.
Yeah, hang on.
Fish cam.
Huh?
It's a GoPro.
Actually, sometimes Eduroam works when MobileNet doesn't.
That's you.
I think we should hire a consultant.
Yeah, I know. It sounds pretty cool. My consultants have actually been a lot of fun to work with, too. They have a sense of humor.
What's actually nice about hiring a consulting group, I can say on the side, is that they don't know us, and they don't know any of the players really as I mean, they treat everybody the same, and the opinions get weighted the same, and they've done a really good job of listening to what, yeah, let's see if I'm on. Yay. Oh, nice. You know, they've done a good job of listening to our clients. All right, so let's bring up my development server now, maybe. Okay, here we go. So this is a form of faceted navigation that I think we'll be using. At this point, we can drill by, this is the master directory. I only have 2 departments loaded in here. I have economics and history, but you can filter by any and all. You just keep clicking. This will all be styled out. This is all very much in test mode. It'll all be styled out, you know, made lovely.
That's what
And
we do.
this actually won't be, we're actually going to go with a person placard, which I'll show you in the design. But this is basically how we're going to handle our search, I think. We're still discussing it. So this is my test server, and these people actually exist up here on the top. This is a sample subsite. Now you notice the URL changed slightly. The menu bar changed completely. The people here are actually, I've pre-checked them for economics, but they'll just display as economics. This actually won't show. We'll turn that off. But we get the faculty, grad students, staff. We can have as many categories as we have people. So it'll give us a live search. I tested this all with a text reader with reader software, and it works fine as far as screen reading goes. The only issue is it fails back to nothing rather than failing back to text as far as ADA compliance goes. But the new browsers, if there's JavaScript is disabled. If JavaScript is disabled, it fails back to blank, but then you can't disable JavaScript in a lot of the new browsers unless you work very hard. And so my understanding is that the ADA is moving, more people with disabilities are using JavaScript than not. And we'll make a final, decision on this, but I think it's a go. The new Firefox, you can't disable JavaScript unless you install a plugin. And I haven't tested IE, but does IE run without JavaScript? Does it fail terribly? Yeah. So this is this is what we think we're doing. I can actually, I have the back button to get back to the home site, but these would be URLs. I tried to get it set up last night so that everything, well, the URL part was working, but I just didn't have time. So, and then the history department will show up here. So people really are our big issue. And so we'll be bringing faculty profiles down. And so David here can be the director of his center plus the chair of history. And then we'll have an overall master for the division directory that will show everybody where they work, what their categories are, and what their, basically how to find them. We're still trying to work out office hours because that's typically just a teaching function, and so we may just enable those at the department level. But then we have advisors who are staff of office hours. It's great fun. Anyway, there's a lot of things to take into account. But I think this is the model that we'll use, and it should work. And like I said, news and events will federate right up. So we'll have master news and events, we'll have departmental news and events, we'll have master news and events, and then if I have departments that need to cross events, it's very easy to do. As long as they're all in the same really big container, we don't have to work that hard to get things to cross-populate. So, the other thing that I have, I think that's it for this part. Oh, we also have a roles management application in my division that someday, if things go the way I want, I'll be tying our websites into so that people will automatically add themselves. That would be really nice. I was gonna show the underlying, I don't know if this guy's filled out his profile or not. No, he hasn't. These are just, like I said, this is completely unstyled. These are basically just the underlying profiles. I think Paul's done his. These are the old underlying profiles, or the out of the box underlying profiles. All of this can be styled and dealt with using CSS. But this particular person engine gives us websites, office hours, education, biography, and research interests without too much, mostly out of the box. I think I wrote office hours for that one. But. So, then we're to our designs, of which we have 2 that are being presented. And let's see. These are unfortunately flat because they're just, they're not, you know, the JavaScript isn't live. But this is template 1, I think. And sort of standard news and events and about. Our designers used a lot of the extra colors, which I like. This is the people without the faceted navigation. It'll still work. This is just it without the faceted nav. And let's see, that's the desktop. Oh, this is the proposed faculty profile. And I think that's all I have on that one. And then this is the second design. That's Steve Luck, by the way, right? This is Steve Luck right here. He's our director for the Center of Mind and Brain. He's also a psychology faculty member. This one has some widgets and a doormat, or whatever that's called at the bottom. This is how they envisioned the people if we use the faceted nav, which I actually like a lot. And then this is the faculty profile again. So that is pretty much what we're doing. We're not, like I said, we're not that far along yet because these are just rolling out, and some of the widgets and things I need to write are really dependent on which design we go with. And we're hoping that this goes really well. Oh, they did a mobile skin for us, and although I think this is just responsive. Desktop, wait, there's an iPad one, tablet, on this design. So these will be going out, and then we will be moving forward. Then the reason I can't talk a whole lot about the process of coming into a decision was because I didn't actually participate in much of that because we hired a firm to do that, which it really is very nice. If you can afford it, it's worth it. So.
Can we see the first design again?
Sure. Yeah, so this is our first design, and I think.
Is that designed for parallax scrolling? Is that the idea for navigation? The JavaScript parallax?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to present it to us in a working HTML form, and I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of what the sub-sites would look like too, or because this is the top root side, right?
This is this will be an overarching master design.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we haven't, they haven't gotten that far. They're going with, I mean, this is branded psychology, but it's actually not gonna be psychology, it's gonna be, you know, we're trying to get agreed on design elements that will then mix and match. And some of it, you know, we have to think about, well, is someone gonna, you know, who's gonna populate some of this? Who's gonna do the updates and things like that? I think I have, let's see, where's my mobile on this? But these are being shown, these are just being shown, you might be seeing these before my faculty, actually. It's the mobile on this thing. Oh, I think mobiles look the same, sort of. But it's supposed to be responsive, that's what we, and then this would be the tablet view.
It just doesn't put
Anyway. Okie dokie, so that's about what I have. Somehow in my head it went longer, but I can answer any questions that anybody has.
I have a question.
Sure.
You said the design team's going to give you guys a working HTML.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to also implement that, or
I'm
are
doing
you
the
gonna
implementation.
Okay.
But they're giving me working HTML, and in some cases, we actually are working together because it makes no sense for them to
Right.
rewrite something that I can throw clone together. And so we're actually
Mhm.
sharing a Git
Oh,
repository.
cool.
And I'm periodically popping in and saying, no. But actually, they've been great. And in fact, the first time I ran through their HTML, there weren't enough tags, enough ID tags. They did a bunch of it with classes, and I couldn't.
What's the name of the design firm? If
Yeah.
you
We
Can
are
we poach
using
them?
Cake Farm. Is that
Cake
Sacramento?
Farm.
I was going to look at that.
They actually are, they've done a lot of Drupal work, so they haven't done a lot of clone work, so they're trying really hard to figure out how to make this work, working with me. But they've been very accommodating.
There, it says it there.
Yeah, they've done a lot of UCDO stuff.
Yeah, I think that's because they're easy to work with, maybe? I mean, I like them, so ta-da! And we're talking about, I think we have 50 sites, so, or more, I'm not even sure. So some of them will come under more easily than others. I think our hope is that this design and research and everything will last for 5 years. It may take me 5 years to finish it. Sure.
Carol,
Yeah.
my name's Zach Edson, I'm with Strategic Communications.
Uh-huh.
I'm curious what your position is and your role in this whole thing. Sorry to ask the very basic question.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm actually the web developer for our division, and so it's my job to make it work. And because we use to make it work with our CMS. I write parts for the website that we need, and things of that nature. So it's my job right now. You know, I consult some with the designers, but that is, my role is to get this to go once they're all up and running. We're working very closely with our division's marketing or relations office, our communications office is involved in this. So that's my role. Did that make sense?
Yes, it made perfect sense.
Okay.
I actually saw these yesterday, man.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you know Amanda and Marissa? Yes, yes. And so, yes, it's my job to make them go once they hit, because of our CMS, we prefer to leverage it. It's really terrific as far as managing information. We have a lot of content, we have a lot of information. We have a lot of events and news that needs to be shared across sites. So, yes.
This project is very interesting to me, especially when you start talking about like, the people management.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the same problem everybody faces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Especially
I think so.
as we do more interdisciplinary work. It's not just
Right.
showing up in multiple places within the Division of Social Sciences. It's also,
Right.
somebody needs to show up at that med and social science.
Well, and I
sciences
have, I have med school folks, and I have folks that are in the humanities that need to show up. And those profiles we'll just have to make, since I don't home their division, their department or their center. And so there's gonna be some of those situations, but we also do profiles for all of our grad students. They're all in there, and they often have, actually, I should pull up the profile page on this, because, let's see, that's the tablet one, not the desktop one. This is designed to, faculty profile on this. So this is, what we're thinking about for the profile page. But our grad students can have this much of a profile as well. And so we're often moving, they're often involved in centers, and they have a specialty. This supports specialties, centers, committees. There's some committee hooks, so that if people are on committees, they'll show up. And then all of this comes out of our basic profile. That's actually just a form and fairly easy to fill out. But yes, how do we share it all reasonably, with, and have it, have it presentable, and have people, have it be attractive, have people like it. We looked at a lot of sites before we did this. We actually looked at a lot of sites that have done something new or something interesting with their people. We looked at Dartmouth, and they have, okay, that drives me crazy. I'm sure they think it's great, but and they have a standardized profile underneath, and they're flip the button. It's a very, this site's really clean. It's smushed up a little on my screen, but we were aiming at for something that looked kind of clean, got the information you needed. And they have their entire campus or I guess their department, all their departments in the footer or the doormat. Anyway, it was really interesting to see what other people are doing. It was really interesting to see how other people are handling situations. And we're not, this isn't going to be applied to a lot of the faculty have their own page in addition to their profile. This is just their directory profile, so they'll still be able to have their own page. And we haven't decided, what those look like or where those will be hosted yet. Most of them already have their own page. We just want to continue to do it. So anyway.
So now that you're pretty deep into this process, did you meet resistance along the way at all? And if so, how'd you get through that? Was it like a dean decree or?
This process started with everybody really did want a better website.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a better website. So that part of it was not difficult. What everybody wanted the better website to be was highly, highly variable and debatable. But we got through most of that by asking very specific questions. Because we got some, well, I don't like Plum. Well, what don't you like about Plum? Do you not like through the web editor? Do you not like that the boxes are square? What is it you don't like? And we discovered that it's often one little thing that they don't like, that it doesn't do X, which typically can be enabled, or the color, or the presentation, or something was in the wrong spot. We actually we started this process quite a while ago, talking about having kind of an overall look and feel, and this is only a pilot. We're going to do 3 departments, and we'll see how it goes. We may meet resistance then, or it may all be fine. I don't know, but really everybody wanted a better website, and part of it is, I think people, don't know quite what to put up on the web. A lot of our folks are faculty. They're used to publishing. It's paper, it's written in. So what to put on the web to look nice, to, you know, to best represent them. I do know that specifically some of our folks are very interested in graduate student recruitment and the types of graduate students that they would get. Anthropologists have very specific field, and so they'd like graduate students that are really interested in their work to apply. And so it's important to them to best represent their research for their grad students. So at this point, the designs are just being shopped around, and so I don't know what we're going to see as far as that goes. But so far, we actually really like the designs. I should have said that out loud. We really like the designs. We feel like they're very attractive, and they also put the important information right where we want it to be. So we've been very pleased so far with the process. And I was saying earlier to Trish that the designers have been very easy for me to work with. They have a designer and then they have a technical person. The technical person's been great.
Is that with the firm you're working with or your own department?
I'm the technical person in my own department, but it's
Okay.
the firm we're working with.
Okay, so did they provide the designs or did you guys provide them in-house?
No, they provided the designs. They did all the groundwork
Okay.
for all the meetings. They provided the designs, and they have experience theming in most platforms, just not mine. And so I get to do I'll be applying the theming, but I'll be working with them the whole way. They're really great.
Carol, how long ago did you start the project? When did you begin?
It began, I would have to say that my director started it 2 years ago, when he started talking about it. And he started collecting buy-in. And then we did some research. It might have, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Now the actual, let's get down to getting this all running, up and running, that's been going on since, I'm not exactly sure. This is the fun part about this is I didn't go to the committee meetings or anything. You know, they talked to me, but I didn't have to be present for all of the meetings. But I would say we got them on board in the fall, maybe. I can probably tell from October-ish, maybe.
But when did you hire the firm then? Or like?
Yeah, that's
was
what
it-
I'm not actually sure on that date because they worked a lot with Amanda and Marissa before they really worked with me. So I'm not exactly sure of that date. I know I participated in the RFP process, but that was quite a while ago. So they seem to set. I can say that they've set reasonable expectations for themselves, and they've been meeting their timeline. And so, whatever the hiring, whatever the initial contract date was, I know they've been working steadily, and they've been meeting their deliverables because these are just now coming in. It's kind of when we expected them. So, yes.
What's our price range?
I don't know, actually. I wasn't part of that process. So,
Which is unreasonable and affordable.
well, no, I have a feeling that it's not that, I have a feeling that this is such a big project that I would think that it was probably pricey, but I don't know that number. I do know that they've done smaller projects on campus that haven't, been through the roof. I know we did an RFP. Sorry, I should have bring all that, but I don't know that.
Cool.
Anything else? Okie dokie, well, that's it for me.
All right.
Yeah.
So who here submitted a logo? All right.
Winner.
Not quite. We're gonna let you guys have until today, the end of today. So send me your logos. I'll send out a Survey Monkey. Everyone will vote, and the winner will be rewarded with eternal glory. And that's not what I need. Can you send me the white one?
Wait. Oh, you want mine?
Sorry, sorry.
I guess that's better than throwing it at you.
And I'll give you guys a quick preview of the floor we've got right now. So you can see the competition, if this will work. Okay, well,
Really?
want to see first?
Well, I don't have the logos.
I'll just send it to you.
With the technology, it's like you lose some branding.
Oh. Oh, nice. Okay, I emailed it too.
Or Sandra Kentwood now has it up there.
Email. I emailed it too. Is that received?
And then we care where they are, they care about where they are.
Change the resolution. I should probably not. If you can get here. Oh, yeah, I'll do it to the outlook. It's probably into this.
That's what it is.
Does everyone want to talk next month? I think, is anyone interested in CSS animations? Okay. I think I'm gonna do that. Oh, yeah, okay, so often. Check your Gmail. Oh, I can just. I can iMessage it too. I can iMessage it. Yeah, so get on messaging. You go to me. Say something.
Wait,
Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go. Drum roll.
Ready, folks?
The first, yeah, so that's.
Propeller minus. That's as far as you got.
Okay.
How do I do that? You need to go to change resolution. Go up to the top left.
You present as much as I do. Terrible.
Wait, did they change it? Yeah, it's that scale. Go to more space. All the way to the right. There we go. Should be there. Is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Go to scale now. And then go to, there you go.
That's the last we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, no, there we go. There we go. Okay, there's the first one.
Alright, so
Everyone
first
say,
logo.
ooh.
Nice.
Second
Here's the second one.
Oh, that's cute.
Here's the third one.
Oh.
And the fourth one. Okay. So if you want to change the logo that you sent in, then let me know. Just just send me a new one, and send me your ones that you're gonna do right now within 8 hours or so. Plenty of time. And that's it.
Cool. Alright, thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks.
See you next month.
You wanna scroll through?
Oh, scroll back?
Can you go through with it? Sorry.
No, pay
Don't worry, I'll
attention.
send out a
We're
survey
talking
monkey
live.
with all of them.
Okay,
$25 Amazon.
$25. Could be yours.
Calm down, Max.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Carol.
Do you wanna email me those things and I'll send out your slides and stuff after you?
Oh, sure. My design?
Either one.
Oh, or my PowerPoint,
Yeah.
sure.
There you go. There.
Worse for me.
What? Bad luck. Did you send it a logo design?
I didn't because I have a great idea, but I can't draw, so